A passenger vanishes mid-cruise and then is found. Well, sort of. Carnival's duck hiding tradition takes an interesting turn, and yet another boneheaded move from a cruise ship casino player who went a little too crazy and had regrets. This week in cruise news has had a little bit of everything from shocking cruiser behavior to yet another waterslide incident to new ships and weather-causing itinerary changes. This week it has it all. Hi, I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ship. So let's start with one of the most quietly unsettling stories that we've seen in a long time. Now it's interesting because Netflix just released the Amy Bradley case, a late 90s case of a woman that went missing on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, and everybody was talking about it. And this recent case actually has some similarities to it. If you didn't hear, what happened is a woman was sailing aboard Carnival Horizon and she disembarked in Bonaire and then never returned to the ship. Now, that alone is enough to make national headlines, setting off alarm bells, but it's what happened next that's truly interesting and different and kind of haunting. Of course, this big manhunt went out, it made the news, everyone is out looking for this woman, and it became a really big deal. But what's interesting is this woman later reached out to Carnival's care team to let them know, hey, I'm missing, but of my own volition. I'm totally safe, and I just don't want to be found or contacted at all. That's it. Now, apparently she left behind a thank you note, a cash tip in the cabin, which is good, always tip your stewards, and chose willingly to disappear. And I remember when she first went missing, Carnival was putting out footage, and as she was disembarking by herself at Bonaire, she had a big, full backpack. Looked like it was full of more than just beach day stuff. Now, authorities in Bonaire in the US are cooperating, but this is not just being treated as a typical missing person case. Carnival does believe that she made a voluntary, intentional decision to disembark and disappear. So I want to know, what do you think about this case? It's very mysterious, and that's all we know for now, and maybe that's all we'll ever know. But what do you think about getting off on a cruise ship and then just never getting back on? And escaping your entire life? Now the conversation shifts to how much responsibility a cruise ship has when someone deliberately separates themselves. There's certainly no playbook for this kind of scenario. I mean, not really. And that's what makes this complicated. If someone wants to, as an adult, on their own volition, disappear quietly, where does the line fall between respecting autonomy and sounding the alarm? Especially in an age where people sometimes use cruises to get off the grid intentionally. So I personally think Carnival handled this about as well as they could, given the bizarre circumstances of this case, but I want to know what you think. Now for another absurdity in Carnival world. This relates to the famous duck hunting tradition. Cruisers, we love hiding ducks. I don't really know where it started, but it's a really fun tradition to hide and find rubber ducks on cruises. Guests hide the ducks. Sometimes they're tiny. I hide little duck keychains. Some of them are tagged, some of them are not. It's just a really fun way to embrace cruise culture. But some cruisers have taken this a little bit too far. What's happened is that some cruisers on a Carnival ship have started to put prank tags on the ducks, basically putting on there a fake coupon saying, hey, if you find this duck, this coupon is redeemable for a free drink at the bar. And they even feature the Carnival logo, making them look more authentic. Now, here's the problem. Obviously, no such promotion exists. The tags are fake. Why any cruiser thinks that this would be funny to do is beyond me. But it became such an issue that Carnival brand ambassador John Heald, I always talk about this guy, seriously, Carnival, give this guy a raise. He deals with some serious BS. He is not amused. He made a post on his Facebook page specifically asking guests to stop doing this, saying that it's putting crew, especially the bartenders, in a really awkward spot because people are finding these coupons and then trying to redeem them. And cruisers sometimes are not nice to crew and bartenders, and they're yelling at them, and it just causes a big issue. And what we don't want to have happen here is the duck tradition being shut down completely. So please, cruisers, knock this crap off. Don't be doing this. We don't want to lose the duck hiding tradition. I know some cruisers hate it. Let me know what you think down in the comments and let's talk ship about it. But if people don't stop doing this, cruise lines can and probably will put the kibosh on it. So don't do this. Now, if that one raised your eyebrows, this next one might have you rethinking some of your onboard adventures. A video just went viral this week showing a passenger stuck, yes, stuck, in the transparent part of a waterslide tube on a Norwegian cruise ship. So yeah, this is the kind that loops out over the ocean to make it more thrilling. And on the video, you can see the guest trying to scoot herself forward mid-air while spectators can see and they're gasping below. Now, thankfully, there were no serious injuries confirmed, but this video has triggered some fresh anxiety around the safety of these thrill rides on cruise ships, especially given that it's not been a great summer for cruise ship thrill attractions. There have been lots of issues, including recently on a Royal Caribbean ship. One of their water slides shattered, causing serious cuts to the cruiser that was affected. Now, this particular design is part of the new generation of these wow factor water slides. double loops, ocean overhangs, sky suspended curves that are meant to give you a thrill and a roller coaster at sea sensation. I've done these water slides and dry slides before. I personally don't love them. I think they're kind of boring, but I know a lot of people, including my tween daughter, she does love them. But these slides, they're no joke. They're not just fun and games. There can be incidents like these that happen. Now, thankfully, they're not common. We have thousands of people going down water slides and dry slides on cruise ships every single day, and nothing happens. So these are probably just unlucky outliers, but I want to know what you think about these at-sea attractions. Is it no worries, or do you think it's just not worth the risk? Now let's talk about some other ship movement making waves of the Mother Nature type. On Royal Caribbean's Vision of the Seas, a rogue wave hit as the ship neared its home port. It caused this dramatic listing, which was enough to send dishes flying, carts rolling, dishes crashing, and passengers stumbling, more so than just your regular waves at sea. Videos captured the chaos in real time, and of course, people share it. It goes viral, and it was a pretty jarring clip. Now, thankfully, no one was seriously hurt, and crew members were praised for their quick response. But this was not just, again, your ordinary jostle. This was a stark reminder of what it means to travel the ocean. Sometimes when we're out on a ship, we're out in the big ocean, we get complacent because we feel like we're on a big floating city, basically. And technology is advanced, ships are more stable than ever before, but Mother Nature and the sea still very powerful, and they get the final say. Now, I've seen some dishes clattering on a cruise ship, but certainly nothing like this. So I want to know, what has been your scariest at-sea adventure? I've even sailed during hurricanes, but thankfully, due to technology and the prowess of the cruise ship captains, they kept us well out of the way of the storm. So thankfully, I haven't encountered anything this extreme, and knock on wood, hopefully I don't. Now let's pivot to something a little more structural, literally. Virgin Voyages is making waves, and not in a good way, by rolling out a new pricing model. They're calling it Voyage Fare Choices. I'm a little uncertain about it. I love Virgin. I always talk positively about them, and the big thing I love about them is their all-inclusive fare. That's what I tell people sets them apart. And I'm a little skeptical about this new rollout because it takes away a lot of what makes Virgin great. But I want to know what you think. But let me tell you about it. It launches October 7th, so pretty soon, and it splits their fares into 3 tiers. So there's base fare, essential fare, and premium fare. And Virgin cruisers are definitely not happy about these changes. I've been monitoring the chatter in the Facebook groups, and this is not going over well. Now, here's the big thing that people are pretty upset about. It's the fact that gratuities have always traditionally been included in your Virgin Voyages fare. And again, that's why I've always sung the praises of Virgin Voyages, that it is the most truly all-inclusive of all the cruise lines, and they're messing with that, and I don't like it. So what they're saying is that guests can prepay at a set nightly rate or pay as you go, but that makes them no different than every other cruise line. And depending on your pricing tier, you may get things like early access to dining reservations, better Wi-Fi. Traditionally, basic Wi-Fi has been included in all Virgin fares, but you're gonna get better Wi-Fi at those premium tiers, and you may even get things like bar tab credits and priority support. Now, it's interesting because Virgin has built its early brand and built a reputation on simplicity, on the all-inclusive nature. No tipping, everything is inclusive. We're not gonna nickel and dime you. And with doing it with a sleek vibe, and I've loved that about them. But this shift just starts to put them closer to that traditional cruising model that we see with all the other cruise lines. So I don't love this. And I actually just unveiled, I'm doing a hosted cruise on Scarlet Lady on Virgin Voyages, December 5th through 10th. If you want to join me and my guy, Botsy, on a boat, I have information at profmel.com/meetup. And if you book before October 7th, you are grandfathered into the old way of doing things Virgin. But Virgin, what are you doing? I don't like it. I don't think a lot of other people like it. But let me know what you think down in the comments. It's hard for me to see any upside to this at all. But if I'm missing it, correct me, let me know. Now let's go back to Carnival for just a moment with one of the most debated topics in cruise planning, the good old fashioned, what do you do with your passport? I've told people this for years, that the smartest thing with cruising, for most cruises, is to leave your passport in the stateroom safe and just bring a government issued ID like a driver's license out in port. And in the unlikely event that you do miss a ship, what happens is the cruise ship crew go to your stateroom, they retrieve your passport from the safe, and they leave it with the local port authority for you to retrieve. Now, that has always been the rule. Carnival has said this repeatedly, at least John Heald has on his Facebook page. He's repeated this. I actually, on my website, have a whole guide of what to do with your passport with cruising, and in it, I actually provide links to what John Heald has officially said. But here's the catch. The US State Department actually kind of contradicts Carnival with this. They advise always carrying your passport while you're abroad in case of unexpected emergencies. So what is the right answer? The cruise lines, especially Carnival, take one stance, the US State Department takes another. Personally, I'm gonna leave my passport in the stateroom safe, and take my license with me, because I know the odds of me missing a cruise ship is pretty darn slim. And if I do, the cruise line will leave my passport there. And I know my odds of losing my passport at port are much higher than me ever missing a ship. But you're getting divisive information here from the State Department versus Carnival. So what is the right answer? I say the right answer is what works for you, what makes you less anxious, because cruising is supposed to be fun, not full of anxiety. Now brace for the wildest story of the week, and maybe the most extreme overreaction to a lost bet that we've ever seen. And yes, this might even beat the story of the dude from a few weeks ago that I talked about, who literally jumped ship in Puerto Rico, like yes, literally jumped off the cruise ship because of gambling losses. Now this one hasn't made the US mainstream news as much because it happened in Singapore, but this guy boarded a Resorts World cruise to Malaysia. He gambled in the casino and he reportedly lost about $2,000, to which I say, what an amateur. $2K, that's nothing. After returning home while riding on the subway, he began firing off some emails, bomb threat emails, sent directly to the cruise line using the same email address that he had used for his cruise ship booking. What a bonehead. His messages warned that unless the cruise line gave him his money back, that the cruise ship would explode and everyone would drop into the sea. One email even said, next time I lose money, I'll ensure the entire cruise ship explodes. Authorities obviously took this seriously, as they should. And the result is a full security sweep of the ship, a 2-hour boarding delay for 4,000 guests, and a criminal investigation that led to this man's arrest that evening. So what an idiot. And you're creating all this disruption for 4,000 people trying to enjoy their vacation. So I'm glad they acted swiftly. I'm glad he's an idiot and got caught easily. And he is now facing up to 7 years in prison, all for a losing streak and a few emails that he probably thought wouldn't be traced back to him. They were. Obviously, dumb. By the way, if you like casinos and you like cruising and you're not an idiot like this guy, and you have some discipline and self-control, I do have a complete guide to how to leverage casino play for free cruises, so I'll drop that in the link below. But never bet more than you can afford to lose, and if you do lose, which I do all the time, certainly don't make threats to the cruise line and never jump off the cruise ship. Take your losses, go home, and enjoy your free cruises.